Welcome to another episode of Bourbon and Data Breaches, where we cover 5 of the most interesting data breaches from this last week and one of our favorite bourbons. I'm Steve.
Michael.
Divya.
Paul.
Muted Frank.
Howdy, I am Shu.
Great.
That went off without a hitch. Go us.
Divya, what happened this week?
Okay, so guys, this week has kind of been crazy. I'm going to start off with the first story, which is U.S. manufacturing giant Parker hit by Conti ransomware gang. And Parker Hannifin Corporation announced a data breach exposing employees' personal identifiable information, PII, after Conti ransomware actors published stolen data last month. But in addition to that, after this incident happened, there's like a flash event that Conti was officially discontinued. That's not a pun that I made.
That's bad.
But today, the official website of Conti ransomware was shut down, marking the end of this notorious crime group. What do you guys have to say about this story?
It's a coincidence. Interesting timing.
Conti broke into Parker Hannifin. That was very well publicized. Obviously, that's a big get, right? I find their shutting down to be not believable in any way. So Conti releases like half a dozen to a dozen new victims each day, right? Like Conti breaks into a lot of companies. For them to suddenly be discontinued, I don't see it.
PTO.
I don't believe it.
Too much money.
Yeah, like Conti as a group, like unless the FBI is about to come out and be like, oh, hey, by the way, we rounded up like 100 hackers that all worked for Conti. Like, I think that they'll just show up with a new name.
No, this is like stopping the Joker. You put the Joker in prison, and then whoever's like the leader of the Joker gang becomes the Joker. It's the same business model. It's the same people. It's the same infrastructure. It's the same technology.
Coincidentally, Joaquin Phoenix was also the Joker. Steve.
Joaquin Phoenix was the Joker.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Okay.
I found the whole conversation on Twitter very interesting. This group that announced that Conti was discontinued, Intel, they also admit that like, no, they're not going away. Some are rebranding and some are splintering off. And yeah, you're right, Steve. There's like no arrests have been made. The people are still out there doing stuff, whether it's under the Conti name or whatever. It doesn't matter. They're out there causing trouble. So
This is like if
shenanigans.
Nash and Young broke up.
Yeah.
You're just gonna get 4 times the albums.
Yeah, it's an interesting phenomenon. We've seen it several times. When companies get big, right, they typically eat other companies. But when dark companies, right, the dark economy that's being run by ransomware gangs, when they are successful, they always split up and make new sub companies, right? So it's like what we're seeing is that the dark economy works in a very different manner because there's only very loose connections between these people. And once, like Conti made over $1 billion, plus we all have to remember that Conti had a lot of infighting with the Russian invasion into Ukraine. So they were ready to split apart. And so that's just what's naturally happening. I guarantee there's going to be a Russian Conti. It's going to be a bear that they'll name themselves Bear something. And then there's going to be like a Ukrainian Conti and probably a lot of little baby bells, right? So it's fascinating. I think that what we're going to see is that as these groups are more and more successful, they'll split up into subgroups and then just keep multiplying like a virus. They're going to keep spreading kind of like a virus.
This is under the ledger of creative differences.
Yeah. Although like $1 billion, like, I mean, come on, I'm
An
sure
appreciating asset.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. In something that does not have the inflation pressures that the ruble does. So,
My dad, we basically saw the same thing happen with ReEvil, right? They arrested a bunch of affiliates. Who cares? They're splitting up. Who cares? The main players are just doing something else. Same thing with Conti.
I
So-
remember recently they were hacked, not hacked. They leaked information. So I don't know if that has anything to do, but it could be a reason. Could be a good reason.
Absolutely, yeah.
well, whenever there's a leak of information, there's a lot of distrust, and so that's going to